Time to abandon ship.
Oh no!
Here we go!
Can I persuade you to join us for a drink? It's a tradition.
Here, here.
Jar Jar, homie, my main man, quickly. Before the Separatists attack, get into the escape pod.
Hey! This is escape, then we're the pod.
Hey guys, welcome back to Star Wars Escape Pod. Bit of a news update for you. If you've never tuned into the show before, I'm your host, Josh, and welcome to Star Wars Escape Pod. Normally, the news isn't really covered on the week-to-week episodes, if you want to call them that, because we're usually focused in on more creative content as far as commentaries and after shows go, but figured I'd run out a news update for you guys just because it's been a while since focusing on anything newsworthy, and there's a lot to catch up on. So let's dive right in and hit all these headlines out the door.
Another happy landing.
All right, so I don't want to start off with being a downer, but I mean, let's just get right to business here. Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy is reportedly stepping back and reanalyzing what George Lucas has done with the saga and pretty much trying to figure out exactly where they're going to go from here. There's been articles everywhere online talking about it. I don't want to linger, and quite frankly, it's kind of sad news. I mean, it freaks me out a little bit because if you look over at the Marvel Studios, I mean, they plan like 5-7 years in advance, and I mean, we had what do we have from Lucasfilm? We've got a trilogy that not a lot of people are happy with, and two spin-offs that one of them was not very successful financially, and the other one was a pretty successful hit, but they've been doing really well with TV shows. I mean, Clone Wars was fantastic to finally get that back. Star Wars Rebels was pretty great as well, and Mandalorian. I'm just gonna skip over the Star Wars Resistance, but you know, the crowd that watched, I did watch it, but I mean, it was definitely not made for the older age group. So you know, the people who did enjoy it, though, I mean, that's great. But yeah, I mean, out of all the stuff that we've been getting, you think that in the chair of the studio, the CEO would have some idea of like where they're going to take the franchise after this, after the Skywalker saga ends. And I feel like a lot of their plans actually just fell through. I mean, if you've been catching up on all the headlines, if you've been keeping on top of all the headlines, at least you'll have seen all the directors that were promised to have some sort of Star Wars film in the future and ended up just falling through. I mean, Rian Johnson is just one of them. I have no idea what's happening with his series of movies. Apparently it's in the works, and yet I am not convinced that is even going to happen anymore. The Benioff and Weiss thing didn't work out. I mean, we've had quite a few directors, even in the movies that we have had, either get part ways from Lucasfilm because of creative differences, let's call it, or otherwise. So, I mean, it's been a mess. It's been a mess, and I personally, just as a fan myself, I am so sick and tired of it. Like, it's brutal to see the constant shift of direction and changing of ideas, and like, I mean, ideas will change in a creative department like that. Like, it's pretty normal. But I mean, when you're running a multi-million-dollar company, I guess in this case it's a couple $1 billion worth of a company, you tend to think a few steps ahead, and that's not exactly what they've been doing. And so as a fan, I'm kind of freaked out. I'm like, okay, what is next? I mean, I was almost convinced that we'd be getting a High Republic movie in the coming years, because they've been building up so much hype towards this new era of storytelling that they're producing all these books and comics for and laying out a foundation. I mean, why not a movie based in that era? I have no idea. It's not that I long for a movie based in the High Republic era, but that's kind of what I thought might happen based on just what they've been doing. And yet maybe that's not even going to happen anymore. I mean, like they're really trying to put it out there that there are no confirmed plans at all. So yeah, I mean, it's not exactly news other than a headline and a worry, but I thought that was just worth talking, about getting out there, spewing out to the void of the internet. So hopefully you guys are, I wish I could comfort you, but quite frankly, we're all in the same boat here. I wish we could say that in Dave Filoni we trust, or in Jon Favreau we trust, but I mean they got their hands full with Mandalorian, and they're not exactly in the director's chair of the whole company. So who knows what's going to happen? So I mean, just hoping for the best. Of course, we all love Star Wars, and we only want to see what's best for it come through. So I just keep waiting, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we get some good news in the future. In other news, we got a few other things to chat about. A couple video games that have been trailers have been launched. They're about to come out, and let's just get right into that. So if you guys play The Sims 4, there is an expansion coming called Journey to Batuu, and let's just listen in on the official gameplay trailer. It's not very long here, but if you play Sims 4, you can be stoked for this.
Whoa, not cool. He'll never make any friends that way. A few days ago, in a neighborhood not too far away, Cora dreamt of something bigger than the world she knew. Suddenly, a mysterious caller promised the adventure of a lifetime. And in an instant, Cora was swept away to Black Spire Outpost on Batuu. Cora was in shock. I mean, there were aliens and droids and blue milk. Why was it blue? Also, she had new clothes. You know what? I'm gonna change this real quick. Let's see. Ooh, I like that. It says I'm cool, but not trying too hard. Anyway, Cora set out to explore more of Batuu. While devouring a plate of delicious Ronto wraps, an especially nosy Abednito named Loose Tongue shared some unsolicited advice.
If it's intel you're after, head to Ogre's Cantina. Talk to DJ Rex,
he whispered. Cora entered the vile den of crime and deviance, only to find what looked like a pretty good time. And at the center of all the fun, DJ Rex. The droid was eager to talk. Apparently, 3 groups had recently set up occupation on Batuu. The Resistance was gathering forces outside the city. The nefarious First Order had taken over an area downtown, and the scoundrels had been trying to get rich off both every chance they got. Each group would pay a handsome reward to anyone looking to help their cause. And Cora could use the credits. She just had to choose her path. It was an exciting time for Cora. She completed many missions, collected rare items, recruited new members, became a spy, even flew starships. Most of the time, she could handle a mission on her own, solo style, but occasionally she could use a little help. Luckily, Cora brought her droid. Oh, right, her droid. Where is my mind? Let's go back. Before going on her next mission, Cora headed to the droid depot. There were many options, but she loved this little BB unit. So she paid the credits and named her BBQD. Cutie, for short. Oh, what a little cutie. Cutie proved very useful while on missions, causing distractions, taking out obstacles, slicing panels, but really just being a great friend. Look at her. You're the best, cutie. Anyway, back to the mission. Oh, wait. Lightsabers. What did I forget about? Okay, so the very first thing Cora did was get her own lightsaber. So cool. Look at that thing. Okay, we've gotten way off course. Missions. Okay, so after many successful missions, people started to take notice of Cora's effect on Batuu. And as her reputation grew, she made friends with some truly inspiring people. Cora made a pretty good living on those missions. Rewarded with promotions, antiquities from another era, all the galactic credits a person could want. She thought she'd never leave. But then she remembered where she was from, who she was, it was time to go home. Plus, this guy had a temper. Cora returned to Batuu several times and had many adventures. She made her dreams come true. But the one thing she never could have dreamt of was little Cutie. Begin your Sims Star Wars story in the Sims 4 Journey to Batuu game pack.
All right, so if you're a Sims 4 player, then obviously you'll appreciate that. If you don't play The Sims, then maybe you might actually want to pick up a copy. I mean, it looks pretty cool. It looks like it's Star Warsing up The Sims 4, which is pretty nice. It's available on PC, Mac, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. And this expansion will be released September 8th, 2020. So you could take The Sims to Black Spire Outpost, which is the same location featured at Disneyland Resort and Walt Disney World, which is also called Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. So you can create your own story with an allegiance of your choice, and everything is there. Oga's Cantina, all the Easter eggs from the park, everything. I think the layout's even the same too, so that's pretty cool. So you can find more out online about this and on StarWars.com. But that's pretty much all I got for that. So let's get into the next little bit. The Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge is a new VR experience that's coming to Oculus, and by extension, it is coming to just VR in general, I guess, because another bit of news today is that the Vader Immortal trilogy is getting released on PlayStation VR, which is awesome. So that's another little headline there. Not much else to talk about. It's been out for a while, but it's finally being released on another platform, which is nice because originally the Vader Immortal trilogy was only exclusive to Oculus Rift. And I'm a Vive guy. I've got a HTC Vive, so I was really disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to play it. And then I found a software online called Revive, and it allows me to actually purchase games from the Oculus store and then emulate them on my Vive, and it works, I would say 90%, 85%, 90% there. The visuals are a little dimmer and darker, I think, than if it were to be coming through on the display that the game was designed for. But other than that, the controllers, they all line up. Every button still has a function on the Vive remote controls, although it probably would be more comfortable to use the natural controllers that it comes with. So, I mean, there is that problem, but at least you can still play the games, right? So I've myself have bought all three of those. So I'm looking forward to buying this one too, and then emulating it on my Vive. But yeah, let's get into it. Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge coming to the Oculus Store. Let's listen to this reveal video. All done by ILMX Labs.
My name is Jose Perez III. I'm the director on Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. It's a new virtual reality experience where we're going to explore and expand on the story of Black Spire Outpost, which you can see at Galaxy's Edge.
My name is Kishore. I'm an animation lead on this project. It takes fans beyond the borders of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, set on Batuu between The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker.
In classic Star Wars fashion, the story starts off with you on a cargo ship, some pirates attack. Before you know it, you've kind of crash landed onto Batuu, and you're getting swept up in your adventures with all these fun characters at Black Spire Outpost.
My name's Steve Hendricks. I am visual director on Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. We're working super hard to push the limits, as we always do at XLab. We really want people to experience an authentic Star Wars story, and that starts with realistic visuals.
We get to work with Walt Disney Imagineering on this project, which is just ridiculously exciting.
Matching the look and feel of Galaxy's Edge is our main goal. We even brought over some of the artists and assets from Smuggler's Run to make sure that we were maintaining a consistent visual style.
My name is Alyssa Finley, and I am the senior producer on Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. It has been fantastic to collaborate with Oculus Studios. We worked with them on Vader Immortal, and we've gotten to work with them again on Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. We're working together to bring the story to life.
When you get onto Batuu, You end up in Cecil Slack's cantina with a new face you've never seen before. Cecil Slack, the cantina's bartender, was a little rough around the edges. And he was the same race as the Six Eyes character that was first seen in the Solo movie.
I play Cecil Slack. He's a little kooky, and maybe being alone and not having a lot of customers has affected him.
He enjoys his life. He's got a bit of a belly. He samples a little too much of his own goods. He has very few patrons, but he takes some pride in his cantina. When he sees a spot, he wants to wipe it off.
You go there, he'll tell you stories, and he really gives you a gateway into the world of Galaxy's Edge.
He's just the guy that's like, hey, did you see that ship out there? It's the Millennium Falcon. Can you believe that? Like, it's right there. Like, you know how many stories that ship has?
Yeah, you ever heard about that ship? Pretty famous.
Bobby Moynihan, who is an SNL alumni, he's an artist when it comes to this stuff, right? We write a line, and then Bobby will take that line and he'll expand on it through improv.
Cecil Slack is just like sitting there reading a book, and you can kind of go over and bother him, so we just improvised a bunch of Star Wars references. I'm like, oh, I can't believe they're dating, and like just stuff like that.
Well, those two got together? Not gonna last long.
In this case, we're capturing the facial performance along with the audio. So they match perfectly. We capture the actor's intent. Jose was directing these sessions. It's really fun to watch.
I gotta tell you, most of the time I'm relieved I'm not a chip. A lot of handy abilities, you know. You're not thinking this, you're not thinking that.
Tara Rashim is a part of the Guavian death gang. She runs a tight ship, literally and figuratively. And when she has a goal, she will not take no for an answer, and she will never relent.
As soon as we started working with Deborah, she literally brings 5,000%. She is super intense and wants to get to the core of that character.
That feels like it'll be more satisfying. Let's do that.
We're looking for something, and we won't stop until we get it. There is no emotional repercussions in what she does. Sometimes it simply is a matter of survival.
We really wanted to open up what you could do in this experience compared to some of the other things that we've done. So we have some really fun things in there, just like listening to a jukebox. We've got some versions of space darts that you can play.
Fans are gonna love this because being able to just walk around with these characters and experience their world, and you become part of it. And I think that's the #1 thing of being a Star Wars fan, is you want to be part of it.
It's a very different experience than being an audience, because you really become a character within the story.
There's so many fun things that you're going to get to do in Tales from the Galaxy's Edge as a Star Wars fan. You're going to get to go out into the wilds of Batuu and explore.
You get to fire blasters. You get to fight Guavian death pirates. And you get to hang out with porks.
And there's some appearances from some really iconic Star Wars characters. 10-year-old me would be bowing down at my feet that I get to bring these characters to life.
Star Wars means the world to me. I grew up with it my whole life. I played with the toys when I was a kid. We played it on the playground.
Several transmissions were beamed to the ship by rebel spies. Okay, don't get me started, okay.
To get to be involved in this is absolutely insane.
I'm actually a little giddy.
It's literally a dream project for me. I can't wait for fans to dive in there and just fully immerse yourself.
It's a new, fun way to get lost in the Star Wars universe. Yeah, I just can't wait to play it.
So Star Wars Tales from Galaxy's Edge coming later this year, exclusively on Oculus Quest. Of course, we know if you have the proper software, that is not the case. But yeah, the Deborah Wilson cast member that they talked to right at the end of the video there, she also played Seer Junda in Jedi Fallen Order, and her voice was also featured in The Rise of Skywalker as one of the alien characters on that planet where they had the big dance mob or whatever, flash mob, Nambi Gimba or Nandi Gimma or something like that. So those are all on her IMDb page, but yeah, so super cool. It's interesting that they're taking a step up, like up a notch from The Sims 4. It's similar experience, whereas but instead of your Sims going to Galaxy's Edge, you will be in Galaxy's Edge as you know, virtually, and exploring new locations around the outskirts of Batuu. So not only are you able to probably see the same exact layout and design as picture Galaxy's Edge but digitized, and you're able to go there in virtual reality. Like that's exactly what this is, but then there's no limits. So like there's an outside to that, in which case at Disney you exit Galaxy's Edge and you're in Magic Kingdom or something like that. Whereas like in the game here, you exit the local Blackspire outpost and you're actually in the outskirts on that planet, on Batuu. So that's really, really cool. And there's a lot of potential here for some great storytelling and meeting some new characters and just adding a lot of depth and history to that place. They've been doing this a lot. They featured Batuu and Blackspire Outpost in the second Thrawn book in the Thrawn trilogy that Timothy Zahn wrote. And they also featured it in a book called Blackspire, I believe it was, and a comic book written by Marvel Comics under the Star Wars banner, of course, also called Galaxy's Edge. So it's been featured quite a few times throughout the novels and the comics and all that stuff. And I'm sure I'm leaving out one or two of the smaller, younger reader books that probably featured that location as well. But now we're actually getting the next wave of merchandising for this place, which is now the video games. And I think it's incredibly cool that you'll be able to go there in virtual reality. So that's pretty awesome. So so stay tuned for more information on that. And that will be coming pretty soon in, I guess, you should go check out the video for yourself, of course. I mean, that trailer is I just nabbed that off of YouTube, but it is coming around the corner, and we'll be able to go to Batuu right at home. So that'll be super exciting. Next bit of news is Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, the next installment in the Lego Star Wars video game series. It's scheduled now to release in spring 2021 on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC, and Mac. So widely available, and it'll be a great Lego game. It looks pretty cool. It's going to feature episodes 1 through 9 in a playing format that I'm sure there's a lot of work that's gone into this. I remember the complete Saga game when that came out. It felt like a express version of every single movie. You know, there's only a couple levels per film, and it was kind of more the iconic scenes. I really hope they don't cut corners like that. I really hope that each film gets a really vast amount of levels, you know, at least like 8 to 10 or something like that, of levels per episode. That would be worth it. And I think it really does ring with the potential of a lot of these new consoles. And that's kind of what I want to see, because it's been a while since we've had a Lego Star Wars game that's actually memorable. I don't know how many of you guys actually bought and played the Force Awakens Lego Star Wars game, but I always forget that was even a thing. The last one that I actually bought and played through all the way was Lego Star Wars 3, which was the Clone Wars game, and that came out a very long time ago now. So looking forward to this game. So let's check out the official gameplay trailer. You can find this on YouTube as well, and this launched I think for the online Gamescom 2020, I believe, that event. So here is the trailer. We can give it a listen.
I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
The Force is unusually strong with him. That much is clear. Twisted by the dark side, young Skywalker has become.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
That boy is our last hope.
No, there is another.
I'm from the Resistance. Your sister Leia sent me. We need your help.
The Force will be with you, always.
I I do really love that music from the Rise of Skywalker trailer. Despite my feelings on the film, the trailer was fantastic.
Not him, the Falcon. I am a Jedi, like my father before me. So be it, Jedi. Huh?
All right, coming first quarter next year, 2021. That's going to be an awesome game. The trailer actually feels a lot more epic and serious, a lot like the movie trailers. But then it's got that subtle Lego humor in there, and I think that's why people really love playing these games, is because it's a humorous take on Star Wars in Lego. I mean, there's so much going for it, right? So I think that's definitely one thing about the Lego games that's always been appealing. And it's nice that they, you watch the trailer and it immediately doesn't feel like it's just 100% a joke. It feels very serious until, halfway or a quarter way through the trailer. And then there's that little Lego humor tidbit that they throw in there at you in there. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, check out the trailer on YouTube. It's worth watching. And I don't know if any of you pre-ordered the game, but I believe pre-orders might be up. I'm not entirely sure, but you can figure that out for yourself. So Star Wars Squadrons, that's the next video game. There's so many video games coming out, man. October 2nd, that's when that comes out. The open beta has already come and gone, and it's going to be released very soon on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. Now, as far as PlayStation 4 and PC goes, it will be VR compatible, which means that you'll be able to sit at your desk, put your headset on, and feel like you're actually in a starfighter. And then I'm assuming you control it the same way you would, which is either with your keyboard, or if you're on PC, or with your controller if you got one plugged in, or if you're on a PlayStation 4, then of course you'd probably have the controller there as well, naturally. But unfortunately, Xbox, I'm sorry, there's no VR option for anybody on Xbox. So if you're planning on playing this game, you're going to need a VR headset on your PC. That if you want to play the VR option, then you'll have to buy it on PC or your PlayStation. And as far as PC goes, you'll need a headset that actually plugs into your PC, because those Oculus Quests are not going to cut it. The game doesn't run on that headset. It's too intense. So you're going to need to buy that adapter cable that is able to harness the power of your GPU. So yeah, I mean, you could figure that out for yourself, but just a heads up, that's what it's available on, and it'll be available on October 2nd. So playable ships is TIE Fighter, Interceptor, TIE Bomber, and TIE Reaper. So 4 of those. And for the New Republic, the X-Wing Fighter, A-Wing Interceptor class, Y-Wing Bomber, and U-Wing Support class. So those are all the ships that you can play as, 4 from each side. And the story is set after the Battle of Endor, very similar to Battlefront 2, the campaign. Set after the Battle of Endor and the destruction of the Death Star, the story alternates between 2 customizable pilots who are flying for the New Republic's Vanguard Squadron and the Empire's Titan Squadron. So if you guys like the Alphabet Squadron novels, I'm sure that this will have potential to flow into those. I'm not 100% expecting it, but the trailer is awesome, and we get a glimpse at a live action looking Hera Syndulla, which is fantastic. So let's give the single player preview just a bit of a listen here, but look this up online for yourself.
We all choose our path, light or dark, freedom or destruction. The Empire chose to destroy Alderaan in order to spread fear and douse the fires of rebellion. But the heroic pilots of the Rebel Alliance have chosen to keep fighting, to show the Empire that we are not afraid. It was their bravery that ended Palpatine's reign and brought about our new republic. However, the Empire lives on, shattered though it may be. As I speak, Imperial forces are edging toward the Bormia sector, hoping to end our new republic before we find our footing. As their empire collapses, they try to tighten their grip. But the galaxy is changing, and you can be a part of it. With the help of brave and daring pilots, this war can end. Make a choice. Fly with the New Republic. Change our galaxy for the better.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Hunka, narrative producer on Star Wars Squadrons. Our single-player story is one of daring pilots and deep-seated rivalries.
Take Titan Squadron. Hunt down this Starhawk and eliminate it.
Gladly, Admiral Sloan.
Over the course of the story, you'll fly as two pilots on opposite sides of the war. And, like all modes in Star Wars Squadrons, you'll have the option to experience every mission fully immersed in VR.
Wedge Antilles, Rogue Squadron. I hear you're the reason I was able to finally get a comm through.
Today, we're giving you a glimpse of an early Imperial mission behind enemy lines.
One of our spies, Agent Thorne, has discovered vital intelligence on Project Starhawk. Your mission is to extract her from an orbital outpost above Hosnian Prime. Behind enemy lines, you'll have to eliminate perimeter defenses.
The outpost is defenseless.
When you've secured the area, you will escort the Gladius to the outpost, and our extraction team will acquire Agent Thorne. Once Thorne is secure, reach your Gozanti cruisers and return to the Overseer.
Cover our escape and escort us to the jump point. We have Republic corvettes inbound. Move, Titan!
Gladius, change course and keep Agent Thorne safe. Titan 3, take out those fighters.
Understood. I'll handle it.
You have my thanks, Titan Squadron.
No time to celebrate. Move on.
Go!
Each mission will immerse you into the escalating conflict between the New Republic and a shattered empire. Debrief with your squad mates between missions.
You're our new wingmate.
Customize and master all 8 starfighters and join the galaxy's finest.
I need you focused and ready to go.
From bombing runs at the Nadiri dockyards to setting a trap in the Xavian Abyss, the story of these rival squadrons will push the war to the brink and define the galaxy for years to come. I look forward to seeing you in combat October 2nd.
Alright, so the game will be backwards compatible with the new consoles. However, there won't be any PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X versions that are exclusive to those consoles. So this is probably one of the last games that you'll see be released on the previous generation of console. And it will be backwards compatible, which is cool. But so awesome to see a lot of familiar faces in there. Wedge Antilles, obviously from the original trilogy. Admiral Ray Sloan has been popping up through every form of media in Star Wars since the very first canon book, A New Dawn, all the way back in 2015, I think it was. So very, very cool stuff. She's been in A New Dawn. It was the Kanan comic book, I think. The Alphabet Squadron series she was mentioned in. The Aftermath trilogy, so she was a big part of that trilogy of books. The Phasma novel. And Resistance Reborn, there was an indirect mention. And the Battlefront 2 campaign, of course, she was mentioned in that as well. Star Wars Insider short story, when they did those. I don't know if they still do those or not, but yeah, she was in the short story called Orientation, which I believe was also written by John Jackson Miller, who did the book A New Dawn. So I think that short story actually flowed into that book. And yeah, so very cool to see her character show up again, just giving so much more depth to the character of Ray Sloan, who we all love as fans. And if you have no idea who she is, look her up on Wikipedia. She's got a lot of history in the new canon storyline, and she has a lot to do with the age of the end of the Empire, and she's got a lot of cool aesthetic about her. So yeah, nice to see her. And then of course General Syndulla. If you've watched the trailer yourself, you'll know, or a few of the trailers, because there's a few videos now, you'll know that she actually pops up in person, and we see something of a live action recreation of what she would look like if she was in a movie. So that's pretty cool as well. I'm looking forward to all the tie-ins that the story gives us with all the books and everything. And I mean, we can all experience that for ourselves October 2nd on the platforms that it's being released in. So that's pretty much all I got for the video games. Mandalorian Season 2 coming out October 30th. So a lot of stuff coming out in October. I mean, a lot being the two big things there, Squadrons and Mandalorian Season 2. I mean, we're all going to be very busy. So a day before Halloween, we're going to get the first episode of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. And I'm assuming that this first episode is going to be subtitled as Chapter 9, naturally. Kind of like how Stranger Things did it. The new season didn't start off with another new chapter. They just kept going because it's the same consistent story. So we can look forward to The Mandalorian. There's no trailer yet. However, if you keep your eyes peeled, I'm pretty sure in the next week or two, maybe we could potentially get a trailer if they decide to release one. Or a sizzle reel or something like that. I mean, they got to start marketing this thing at some point, and I'm pretty sure they're just waiting until Mulan is kind of off to the side and people have had their way with watching Mulan on Disney Plus Premiere or whatever they're calling it these days. So yeah, very cool. Looking forward to Season 2. Been waiting a long time for that. And speaking of Mandalorian, actually, the life-size version of the child you can get on Sideshow Collectibles. It is fantastic. The emails are starting to get shipped out for anybody who pre-ordered them back in spring. So if you do have your email, then I believe you're supposed to receive the child in October or November. One of the two. I have yet to receive my email, but it's going to be a really cool addition to your collection. And I believe it's the only life-size collectible that you can actually buy that is more or less affordable, because nobody has not very many people have the money to buy a $9,000 life-size Darth Vader. I mean, I'll tell you, I would love one, but I don't want to drop that kind of money on a life-size Darth Vader. But if any of you do have a life-size Darth Vader, I envy you. And congratulations. So yeah, that's about it. But if you guys have been keeping on top of the novels, of course, Thrawn Ascendancy Chaos Rising, which is subtitled as Book 1 of a new series or a new trilogy. Here's the cover for this. Discover Thrawn's origins within the Chiss Ascendancy in the first book in a new epic Star Wars trilogy from best-selling author Timothy Zahn. Beyond the edge of the galaxy lies the unknown regions, chaotic, uncharted, and near impassable, with hidden secrets and dangers in equal measure. And nestled within its swirling chaos is the Ascendancy, home to the enigmatic Chiss and the 9 ruling families that lead them. The peace of the Ascendancy, a beacon of calm and stability, is shattered after the daring attack on the Chiss capital that leaves no trace of the enemy. Baffled, the Ascendancy dispatches one of its brightest young military officers to root out the unseen assailants. A recruit born of no title but adopted into the powerful family of the myth and given the name Thrawn. With the might of the expansionary fleet at his back and the aid of his comrade Admiral Alani, answers begin to fall into place. But as Thrawn's first command probes deeper into the vast stretch of space his people call the Chaos, he realizes that the mission he has been given is not what it seems, and the threat to the Ascendancy is only just beginning. So very cool. It's kind of like a prequel trilogy to Thrawn's appearance in the Thrawn trilogy that we already do have, written by Timothy Zahn, once again, who invented the character. And it's going to be cool. It dropped September 1st, 2020, and it's out on shelves. So I believe the first wave of copies have blue edges to the paper, which is pretty sweet. So you can head down to your local bookstore and make sure that you get one of those. Otherwise, if you order online, maybe you'll get one. I have no idea. But it's about 400 pages long and published by the Del Rey Group. So it's another one of the main staple books in the Star Wars canon timeline. And there's been a lot of hype around Thrawn Ascendancy. So be sure to pick that up because it's going to be great. And if you loved the character of Thrawn so far, if all you have right now is your experience with the character in Rebels, the existing Thrawn trilogy might be awesome for you to actually get into, because that trilogy takes place around the same time as Rebels, and flashes back to Clone Wars in the second book as well. And you slowly get to get a bigger picture of this character's history and his past. And Thrawn is just such an awesome character. And I think I'm so curious as to what they're going to do with it. If you've seen the end of Star Wars Rebels, you'll know exactly what happens. And I'm so curious as to where they're going to take that character. Of course, with Timothy Zahn's blessing, Dave Filoni hopefully will figure something out. And hopefully we get the news of a new animated series coming regarding those characters. Not just Bad Batch, of course, but yeah. I mean, older news now, but the Bad Batch, of course, is a series that's going to be coming next year, and we can also look forward to that. And the last thing I got is the Marvel Comics Star Wars relaunch, which takes place between episodes 5 and 6, written by Charles Soule, not unlike the first Star Wars series that took place between episodes 4 and 5. This one is going to be following the same group of characters just after the next film, and I think it's about 6 issues in now. Things have slowed down due to the COVID scenario, but it's been a great author to have on board with the Star Wars team. Charles Soule's written some of the best stuff that's available. I've loved the Vader comic series. Those have been my favorite, and it's awesome that he's actually diving into some other stories other than Vader, to get his take on some of these characters, because he's just magnificent. I mean, his way of storytelling is fantastic, and I also love all the artists that he pairs up with to visually tell the stories that he's writing as well. So super cool. And if you've been keeping up with those, unlike myself, who has just got too much to catch up on, then hopefully you've been enjoying those. But yeah, those have been at the a dispense of the Marvel Comics Unlimited subscription. So if you have the application called Marvel Unlimited, you can subscribe and get unlimited Marvel Comics for across the board. I mean, everything from Spider-Man all the way up to Star Wars. You can get it all at your fingertips at a very low cost every month. So that's pretty cool too. But that's about it. That's all I got for you guys. That's the news. And let's just head into the outro here. All right, so hopefully you guys enjoy the show. I mean, it's been fun to chat Star Wars over the last year. I mean, this is the first episode that's actually it's the second episode that'll have dropped since our 1 year anniversary on the 30th of August. That's when the show launched a solid year ago, and since then we've just done oh man, I can't even count how many episodes we got. I think it's like, yeah, I don't know. You can count for yourself. But we've had the 40 episode Clone Wars Talk series and many more things. So hopefully you guys have been entertained over the last year. And I do hope that you've enjoyed the Phantom Menace commentary track. You can look forward to more commentary tracks coming in the future. But get in touch with us. Let us know what we can do to improve the show. And if you have any feedback or comments or anything like that, you can reach us at a variety of places. Join the Discord. The link is in the description. That's where the action's happening. The Discord is going to be slowly built out so over time, but right now there's a little bit there, and if you're curious, then it's a good place to get some information on the podcast and just Star Wars in general. So that is there at your disposal. So is our voicemail page. Leave us a voicemail and you'll hear yourself on the show at our SpeakPipe address. That's also listed in the description. Our Twitter feed is SW Escape Podcast. We got our email down there as well, theescapepod@outlook.com. We got a Swell app account, which is pretty cool. It's like a Twitter, but for voice messages. And of course, the Facebook page is up and running these days as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. Share this with a friend and give us a good rating, because that helps us out a lot, guys. So we'll see you next time on the show, and may the Force be with you.